It's Thursday the 8th of October 2015 and I'm back at East Hanningfield to do a further walk along St Peter's Way. I've now joined St Peter's Way. The first footpath goes along there. And here's confirmation that we're on St Peter's Way, and the path goes along there. St Peter's Way now heads along this track. Now heading up the side of this field, reasonable view to the left. Further on, St Peter's Way crosses this stile. Very pleasant weather today. Just after the stile in the last clip, there's this pond. Very pleasant spot. And there is St Peter's Way ahead. Further on and near a road, St Peter's Way turns left along here. After a trudge through a housing estate in Bicknacre, St Peter's Way follows this green lane out of the village. At this T-junction, St Peter's Way goes left and then very soon after right. St Peter's Way then turns left to head along the edge of this field. Good view over to my right. Confirmation we're on St Peter's Way again, and the way goes alongside the edge of this wood now. The walk bears right, still following the wood. This section is quite muddy. Further on we have to cross this field where there's no defined path. Now across another ploughed field. I hope there's not too much of this. After the ploughed field we turn right along the edge of this field. Another trackless field to go across. By some farm buildings I met this lovely fellow. Now heading along the edge of this field. Pleasant view to my right. Now passing another pleasant pond. And it looks like we've got another ploughed field coming up. We go along the edge of this enormous ploughed field. The hedge in the last clip ends at this point, and we now have to go across there. We now come to this road which we follow to the right for a short distance. After a good quarter of a mile along the road, we turn left along this path. Still on St Peter's Way. Now heading along the right hand edge of this field. This area again is quite muddy. Again the hedge ends and the walk continues straight across the next field. It doesn't look too bad, that one. Nearly at the other side of the field when we get there, we don't go through the gap ahead, but turn right with the hedge. You can see a hedge which will be on the left, and that hedge is followed round to the left to a road. Now at the road mentioned in the last clip, where we turned right and shortly left along another road. Now turning left up this road. From a gate on the left hand side of the road, there are great views over towards Morden and the estuary of the River Blackwater. St Peter's Way turns right off the road along this byway. St Peter's Way turns left off the byway over this stile. Just over the stile there's some horses in the adjoining field. After the field with the horses, St Peter's Way heads along this path. The path then goes through this woodland. We now come to this road where we turn left, and then a few yards on the road turn right along this path. Now heading uphill towards Purleigh village. The church is over to the left. Now looking back the way I've come, great views over Morden there and the Blackwater estuary. All Saints Church, Purleigh. And now at the bus stop in Purleigh, even though there's no actual stop, and the end of today's walk along St Peter's Way.